Good morning, class 7. This is Kaushalya Rajpurohit, your social science teacher, and today we are going to continue chapter 3 Democracy in Action. Today we will be discussing simple majority system. Now, what is simple majority system? In an election, right? There are two criteria for this. First is absolute majority and the second one is simple majority. What is absolute majority? It means securing more than half of the total votes polled, right? So, if a candidate secures more than the half of the total, then it is said to be having absolute majority. But if the candidate secures the highest number of votes, then it is said to be have a simple majority. This is most commonly used system of the election. It is used in our Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha elections. Okay, so this criteria is commonly used in both Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha elections. Constituency. Now the next important thing in election is constituency, or the area from which the candidate is running for the elections. Electoral constituency means to a territorial area which elects or send one representative either to the parliament or to the state assembly, right? So this is the area from which a member of a parliament or a member of legislative assembly is selected. Here MP means member of the parliament and MLA means member of legislative assembly. Now the next important thing is officers on election duty. As we all know that the Election Commission of India is entrusted with the task of conducting fair elections in the country. Now this independent commission has the head, which is known as Chief Election Commissioner. At the constituency level, the returning officer is appointed by the election commission. Okay, so head of the election commission is Chief Election Commissioner, right, and which is appointed by the President of India. And under the commissioner, that is Chief Election Commissioner, there are various election commissioners which are responsible for the election in the respective states. At the constituency level, there are returning officers. Each polling booth have 5 officials, right? And each polling booth have 5 officials. The presiding officer is in charge of the booth and the 4 other officers are called polling officers. General election, by-election and midterm election. Now what are this, right? So there are 3 types of main elections: general election, by-election and midterm election. The term general election is used when election takes place all over the country or in the state to constitute a new legislature. Okay, so when normal election are being held to elect a legislative assembly or for Lok Sabha, then they are known as general elections. If a MP or MLA dies or resign before the completion of the term, then an election is held to fill that particular seat. This type of elections are called by-elections. Okay, so these elections are due to any emergency, like if the MP or MLA dies or if he resigns, right, before completing his term, then that election is known as by-election. Now the third type of election is midterm election. If the president dissolves the Lok Sabha on the advice of the Prime Minister before completion of its term, then the election are held again to form the government, to form the Lok Sabha, and these elections are known as midterm elections. Election campaign and election manifestos. Now we all know, we have seen that the political parties have election campaigns and election manifestos to attract the voters, right? So these political parties make use of various methods of canvassing, including public meetings, wall posters, roadside hoardings, banners, handbills, processions by supporters, house visit by the local leaders, right? So all these things are done by the political parties in order to attract the voters. Now, the next thing is election manifesto. Election manifesto is a document issued by every party before a general election. It lists the party's policies and programs of future. This way, voters can decide whom they like to vote for, right? So election manifesto is a document which tells about the party policies and the things they will be doing if they win the elections, right? And they help voters to select the respective party. Political parties. Political party is a voluntary association of individual citizens registered with election commission. It is called association because it is an organized group of persons who share similar views on national issues, and it is voluntary because individuals join it on their own, right? They volunteer it. No person can be compelled to join any political party. It is his own will, right? So all the voluntary associations are not called political parties. Only those associations which aim to gain political power through democratic processes are called political parties. It is important that people who come together to form a political party should have agreement on major policy issues. So there should be an agreement among the people or the candidates of the parties, proper setup of rule and good leaders. So the party should have a proper set of rules and there should be good leaders in it. Political parties need to be registered with election commission. So all these 3 points are important points to be a party, for a party to be a political party. Now, what are the functions? What are the functions of the political party? Now, these are the important functions of the political party: to contest elections, select candidate to contest elections from various constituencies. The party usually select those candidates who hold a better chance of winning, right? So, first of all, they contest elections and they also select candidates who are more eligible to win. They also conduct election campaigns. As we have seen that party conducts election campaigns to attract the voters, help to formulate public opinion. They help public to form a public opinion, right? They show to the voters that why they are very important or how they can make a good government. Then form the government after winning. Now it is also a function of a political party to form a proper government after winning the election. Function as opposition if it fails, right? So the party will function as an opposition party if it fails to win the majority, right? So these are the important functions of political party. Now, role of opposition political parties. In democracy, the opposition is a watchdog of people's interest, right? So it is watching the people's interest. It will look after whether the government is doing his work properly or not, right? This is the duty of opposition. Members of the opposition point out the shortcomings and failure of the ruling party, right? So they will, what is their duty? To find out the shortcoming, the failure of the ruling party, to check whether the ruling party is doing its work properly or not. Wherever the opposition is suppressed, democracy suffers. Okay, so the opposition should have right to give its opinion on the policies made by the government, right? And if it is suppressed, then the democracy will be suffering. Sometimes the opposition party may also turn irresponsible when they fail to criticize the government, right? So sometimes they also turns to be irresponsible, right, when they fail to criticize the government. Now, political parties in India. Some political parties present in most parts of the country, which are called national parties, right? So national parties are the parties which are present all over the country, all the states, and the others are limited to certain regions, and thus they are called state or regional parties. So there are two types of political parties in India. One is national party, which is all over the country, and some parties are limited to a certain region. So they are called state or regional parties. National Political party is recognized as national party only if. So, how can a party become a national party? It can become a national party or it can be recognized as national party only if the candidate put up by the party in any four or more states at the last general election to the Lok Sabha. So, the party should have candidates at least in four states in the last Lok Sabha election. At the last general election to the Lok Sabha, the party has won at least 2% of the total number of seats in Lok Sabha. So it should have at least 2% of the seat in the Lok Sabha. The party is recognized as a state party in at least four states. So a party can be said as a national party if and only if it is recognized state party in at least four states, right? So it should cover at least four states and it should have 2% of the majority of the Lok Sabha at least. Now, what are state parties? There are four conditions for a party to be a state party. Candidates put up by the majority at the last general election to state assembly have secured not less than 6% of the total valid votes. Okay, so the candidates which are put by the party in the last general election or the state election have secured not less than 6% of the total valid votes. So at least 6% of the votes should be taken by the candidates of the party. At last general election, the party has won at least 3% of the seat, right? So it should have 3% of the state assembly seats. At last general election to the Lok Sabha, the party has returned at least one member to the Lok Sabha for every 25 seats, right? So in Lok Sabha election also, the party should have at least one member for every 25 seats in the Lok Sabha. And only we can say that the party is a national party. Okay, and if a party is recognized as a state party in four or more states, it is automatically gets upgraded to the national parties. Now the last point is election symbol. Election Commission allots election symbol to all the parties registered with it, right? So a reserve symbol can be used only by the candidates of the party to which it has been allotted, and the symbols that are not reserved for any party are called free symbols. The candidates of unrecognized party or independent can choose from the free symbol available with the election commissions. Okay, so election commission provides symbols to each party, and the reserve symbols are the symbols which are used by the candidate of the party to which it is allotted, right? So all these symbols helps the voter to vote, right? You can see in this machine, right? Every party has its own symbols. Okay, so these are called election symbols. Okay, so this is all for today. I hope you have understood the chapter. Thank you.